Uh, Hello, it's me, Diamond Demon 935, or the Hentai Man, whatever you wanna call me. This is this is a video I've been meaning to make for a while, but you know, kept getting pushed back. Maybe it's not that important. Maybe I don't need to say anything, but I need to. I'm done with this community. I I'm just done. Um, but how? Why am I saying this? Why did it get to this point? That's why I'm making this. So I've just got a couple points here. I'm not really gonna script this because I just want this to be raw, honest thoughts on what I think about the community. So before that, Geometry Dash, the game itself, it's a great game. Now, if it was just the default levels, right? It'd be like, oh, an hour or two. Well, that was kind of fun, and then you delete the game, right? But the whole the whole entire game, the only reason it's lasted 10 years is because of the community. The people who make levels. That's the only reason that the game is still afloat. You'd probably I'm pretty confident in saying that that's the reason the game is still popular. Now, that therein lies a problem. The community, for a lot of things, a lot of like TV shows and even certain games, you can avoid completely and still enjoy the game itself, or the movie, right, or the TV show itself, right. You can't with this because the community is the game. You can't escape it no matter what you do. If you make a level and you post it, people are going to see it. If you play the game, you have to play the community made levels. You can't escape it. It's impossible. And the community is the problem. And I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna go over a couple points here. Well, before I get into that, let's talk about the final straw, so to speak, the thing that pushed me to just kind of not really care about this anymore, is my level got rated. Yay! You think I'd be really happy about that, right? You know, it's a big deal. Not everyone gets a rate. Out of like 100 million levels, there's only about what 36,000 rated ones. So getting a rated level is a pretty good accomplishment. That's true. All right, and I used to think that way as well. I was super happy about my first rate, even though it was just a star rate. But once you get more rated levels, the feeling becomes a lot less special and more or less just, oh, cool. Well, that happened. Now that sounds really pretentious. I know. Again, not everyone gets a rated level. Either not everyone's skilled enough, or it's just it doesn't get seen. You know, can't get mods to see it, which is another issue. I'll get to the rate system, but Iapetus, my best level in my opinion. I think it's my best work so far. I love it. I think it's a great level, and to see it get just a star rate is humiliating. It's just, and again, I know that sounds pretentious to most people because most people dream of getting a rated level. And I was there at one point too. I think most of us were that have rated levels. But it's hard to explain because it's not just this one level. If it was just a one bad rate, it'd be fine. But pretty much all my levels have gotten the wrong rating, and it's yeah. So speaking of rating, let's talk about the rate system. The rate system itself is a good idea, giving people incentives to both create good levels and play levels is a great idea. I think that is a great idea. However, the execution is flawed. There are different tiers of rates, which in theory is a good idea. I think there should be an incentive for people to make better levels. Because if the only incentive was to just get a rated level, there is a lot of people who go for just creator points and would probably just create a bunch of slop levels that just aren't good, just so they can have more rated levels, which is a problem with the creator point system. But the main problem I have with the rate system is it's just one guy rating levels. The only opinion that matters is RobTop's. It doesn't matter what the community thinks. It doesn't matter what the mods think. It's only what RobTop thinks. If you think that your level is amazing and the community also thinks your level is amazing, but RobTop thought it was bad, just a star rate, buddy. And it's such a crushing feeling, even though it really shouldn't matter, because it's just RobTop's opinion, right? But his opinion is the only one that matters, and that's the biggest flaw. The problem with this whole tiering system is that not every level should be there. But everyone thinks differently. Everyone thinks levels should be different ratings. And this is a problem. No one will agree on any of this. It's just such a flawed system. Because look at these two levels side by side. Which one do you think is the epic rated level? It's not going to be the one you think. Yeah, it's that one. That's the epic rated level. I could go on and on and on and give you more examples about this kind of thing, but I'll just leave it at that. And now, I'm not trying to pretend that I have all the answers. But here, I'll suggest something that maybe will help fix this whole broken system just a bit. Why not, instead of just RobTop rating levels, we have maybe some elder mods who are art creators, rate art levels. Maybe an elder mod who is well versed in like generic levels, rate generic levels. And maybe someone who is, really like a modern creator will rate modern levels. That way it'll be a more even playing field for everyone. Just a band-aid solution, and if RobTop still wants to be the only one to rate levels, it'll always be this way and never be fixed. Another problem with the rate system is these arbitrary rules that either aren't told to you or just are completely ignored when it comes to popular and famous creators. Levels having a Not on Newgrounds song. Most of them don't get rated, but sometimes they get epic. The rules are not consistent. Oh, levels can't have gore. Oh, let's just feature collab level then. It's just there's so much hypocrisy and double standards that it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely silly. And the last thing I'll talk about with the rate system is the first mythic level. It's not good. It's not very good at all. But that's my opinion. I don't think it's good. I think it uses nothing but pixel blocks, spams shaders, and particles, and the gameplay is just atrocious. And that's my opinion. But if I were to say that, God forbid, I have my own opinion, right? I would just get nothing but hate because RobTop rated it that way. When RobTop rates a level, people tend to switch their tune. People tend to go, like if it was a misrate, something that should have been legendary or epic, just gets a star rate. People who originally said, "Man, this is awesome. This is just epic," or "This is this is feature," or "This is a legendary level." They'll all of a sudden change their tune once it gets rated to, "Oh, you should be happy. It's at least a star rate." Or if you criticize the mythic level, the one RobTop loves so much, you're wrong all of a sudden. You can't have that opinion because RobTop's opinion is the only one that matters. It's completely ridiculous. All right. I guess another section of the rate system would be the mods. I'll touch on that real quick. The mods, RobTop's only one person, so he can't see all the levels, which is a flaw in itself that it's just the one guy. But mods get to send levels to RobTop. That makes sense, you know? More people see more levels that way. And that's okay. But the mods themselves, they have absolutely ridiculously high standards for lesser known creators. And it's way too silly. It's really bad. Like if you go onto any mod request server, you'll be able to find eventually if you scroll for a while, you'll be able to find this whole line of levels that just aren't sent, that are all rate worthy probably. And it's just silly, you know? Or all the mods will think a level is epic or like feature, and then RobTop will give it a star rate. It's just it's all like it's not coordinated at all. It's not cohesive. There's no semblance of anything functional when it comes to the rate system. And that's the only way, really, that people will play your levels. So if you want people to play your levels, which I want people to play my levels, I want people to enjoy it. I create for myself, but I still want people to see it and enjoy it. That won't happen if your level just gets shafted away, and that's all I'm saying. And when it comes to the mods, they they just they're just stuck up. A lot of them sometimes. Some mods are great. Not gonna should probably clarify that some mods are great, but a lot of them just they just now. This is one thing I feel like I should touch up on. The community just has this weird, abhorrent, just absolute hatred for anything anime. It's very weird. Like, I it's hard to I don't know if I can find any examples of this just because it's pretty hard to find, but when it comes to people within the community, if you mention anything anime, you're either a creepy weirdo or a PDF file, which I guess those two kind of coincide correlate, but it's ridiculous because most people insulting anime are just insulting it because it's anime, which, if you want to be real for a moment, is pretty racist. I'm not even joking. It's pretty offensive to Japanese culture because that is a huge portion of it. If you go over there, which I did go over to Japan for a couple weeks, great trip, by the way. If you go over there, there's anime everywhere. It's part of what their culture is. And to say that anime is gross and disgusting just for being anime is very, very racist if you want to go down that line. There's a difference between saying, oh yeah, anime is not for me, it's not really my thing. When, on the other side, most people will say, ew, anime is gross. That's disgusting. And people who like that are disgusting. And yet, there's a double standard. All of a sudden, furries are okay. How is anime not okay, but furries are okay? And other things, I'm just using furries as an example because that's another thing. That's everywhere in the community. And yet, seemingly, anime is the one put on the chopping block. Kind of racist, not gonna lie. So, yeah. Now, the last point I want to touch on is probably the most important part, but the levels themselves. Now, there's a couple problems with pretty much every rated level now. First one is indicators. This is something I've despised for years. Finally, RobTop said something about it recently. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's cool. So now levels started removing indicators, which is, you'd think would be a good thing, right? Step in the right direction. The main problem with that is because people have been using indicators for so long, they've relied on indicators to make gameplay sight readable. And now you have a bunch of levels that needed indicators to be sight readable. Just you can't tell at all. Levels are just annoying now to play without the indicators. And now, that sounds really hypocritical, doesn't it? That I just said that? But there's a huge... It's very important to have a huge distinction between the gameplay elements and the background elements. That's what makes levels like, well, really anything MC Res makes. It's very hard to tell the actual blocks from the background, and it makes it practically unplayable, which is not how levels should be. For example, in pretty much every like so many platformers, there are either blocks that look like spikes or spikes that are so hidden and blend in so well with everything else that you can't tell that they're spikes, and it's ridiculous. It's unplayable practically. Like levels are really just the levels themselves are also a problem because of that. Not to say that all levels are bad, because there are still amazing levels. So many people are so talented with this game, it's ridiculous. There are so many people in heights and levels I could never reach at all, ever. But the majority of the levels that I play are either pixel block platformers now, which one problem, or just now the last and most important huge problem with levels now are just absolutely constant flashing colors and eye rape. And the level that started most of it was that stupid eye level, man. I don't know why the community loves this level so much. For me, I couldn't even play it without making a copy and deleting all of like the pulse triggers and stuff. I couldn't do it. I just got a headache after playing for like 30 seconds. The only thing that level relies on is flashing colors. It's but that level has started a movement of people now adding a bunch of just eye rape colors, and that being the only thing that the level has. And it makes a lot of levels unplayable. And I'm just tired. Now, if I really wanted an epic rated level, I would do exactly that. I would add a whole bunch of moving gameplay. I would add a whole bunch of flashing colors. And it just wouldn't be fun for me anymore. I just wouldn't enjoy it. Where am I going with all this? I am quitting the game, or to be more specific, the game's community. I've had enough with this, and now I'm getting canceled on Twitter. I guess people are really mad at me because I'm unhappy with the fact that I got a star rate. Uh, Honestly, I thought people would be on my side. I thought they'd go, yeah, this should be at least a feature. I can't believe Rob made a bad decision. But God forbid you criticize your God, you know. Um, yeah. So if I do make more levels in the future, which I probably will because I still enjoy creating, I still like the game. I may not even bother releasing it. I'll just make it for myself, and I think that's really the only way I'm going to be able to enjoy the game still, because until a lot of these problems are fixed, which they won't ever be, I've had enough. I've had enough of the community, and I'm just tired. And I forgot to say this earlier, but to everyone who has supported me and left positive feedback and comments on my levels and enjoyed my run with this game, thank you. Your positive feedback and comments really helped me. Really helped me more than you could know. I forgot to say that earlier. Uh, I think that's all I want to say. So, hope this message finds you well. And good day.